now going to call on His Royal Highness to give us a short closing address, after which we'll be finished with the formal proceedings. Your Royal Highness.
You're going to sit there, are you? It's a fairly daunting task to make a few closing remarks. But thank you very much indeed for the invitation to come and join you this morning and to witness such a spirited and lively discussion with a few stings in it, I have to say. That last question for the panel about what would you do if you were Prime Minister, I thought was a really curved ball. Just remembering a comment by, I think it was the Prime Minister of Luxembourg, who said, well, we all know what we need to do. It's just we wouldn't get elected again if we did it. But I think they'll probably get elected to go and join the panel again after those particular answers. And I was particularly interested by the example of what's going on in Berlin, which sets a real challenge for some other people. But I was just really impressed by the range of phrases and expressions that kept on coming up through the discussion, and very positive ones. Whether it was let them fly, having courage, fun. Well, that was a really interesting one. I'll come back to that one in a minute. The whole business of technology and where that's going in the future. Drive, individuality, skills, experiences, travel. Get out there, find what it is that you want to do, and the reason that those all really came out to me and spoke volumes to me is that I've for many years been involved in the Duke of Edinburgh's International Award, otherwise known as MEPI here. Thank goodness you all know it as MEPI, because my Slovene is simply not good enough to even begin to try and pronounce it in the full name. But all of those expressions, all of those are captured within what the Duke of Edinburgh's International Award is trying to do for young people. And I was also interested by the barriers that we're talking about, and the consensus, how quickly we reached a consensus about some of the barriers there are to young entrepreneurs and allowing young people to be able to get out there and do their own things. I was very interested that finance came such a long way down the list. It was a long time before banks started coming into the conversation, which was very interesting, I thought. I relate this both to my experience with the award, but some of you may know, for some time ago I was also in the film production business or television production business. And so I know all about rejection. But interesting enough, I don't think I ever managed to get so desperate that I went after gangster film. I have to say that maybe the mafia isn't quite so developed, not that sort of mafia, quite so developed in the UK. So perhaps I should have come here. I might have been able to get that extra 20% funding, which every project always needs. As you say, you're still alive and they haven't caught up with you yet, which is very good. But that whole business about bureaucracy, which and I still go back to that statement by Kennedy. It's not so much what the country can do for you, but what you can do for the country. And I think that so much of the problems we have around Europe at the moment is just how do we enable young people to go out and to follow those particular dreams. It's all very well setting up those dreams, but actually how do we make that possible? And that, I think, is the greatest credit to any entrepreneur who gets out there and does it, is actually they've found a way through that particular barrier in the first place. And then all the business about passion and motivation. And this comes back to, it speaks volumes to me, because this is what, as I said, the Duke of Edinburgh's Award does, and the experience that the Duke of Edinburgh's Award gives to young people through the activities that they have to do. They learn about developing skills. They learn about taking physical activity. They learn about adventurous journeys, getting way outside their comfort zone, going into a completely different area. And they also learn about service and volunteering and giving back to the community and learning to help others less fortunate themselves. You get this fantastic balance. And it was devised by an educationalist years ago, a chap called Kurt Hahn. And he was my father's headmaster, and he persuaded my father to launch this program around the United Kingdom. And since then, since 1956, spread around the world to 144 countries. Because the moment a young person starts doing it, it reflects their interests, their motivations, their circumstances. It doesn't matter where this program comes from, it is theirs, and they follow their particular dreams and passions. And that's what it develops. It develops all those different aspects. And what Han was really interested in, he believed that there weren't that many young people that were motivated purely by academic work, that there was something else that was going to be able to motivate them, the passion. But what was it? Now, they might all play soccer, they might play football because all their friends play football, but that doesn't mean to say that football is what is really their passion. Unless they actually go out and try something else, they may never discover what their real passion is, and that actually climbing mountains or skiing or volunteering, whatever it might be, is actually where their passion lies. And that's when you, as businessmen, that's when you start getting interested in them, because you want to know what their drive is and what their passion and what their motivation is. And so this program, which helps adults to work with young people to develop all those skills and those experiences, and then they translate that to you, because when you sit down and talk to a young person before employing them, I defy you to have a meaningful conversation with them about their academic qualifications that last more than about 20 seconds. If that. I mean, you can't, can you? But if you've seen that they've done the Duke Veterans Award or MEP, immediately you can have a conversation. Okay, where did you go on your adventurous journey? What gets you out of there? What's your skill? Where's your real passion line? So that's what this program does for young people, but it's also what it can do for you. I'm really excited. I hope that as this discussion goes forward, I wish luck to the Young Bled Forum when you meet and bring some of these themes to you and discuss those amongst those young people, and hopefully relate that back to how the Duke Veterans Award might be just one element of it. It's not a total solution, but it's one way of being able to get past some of those barriers and to create some of those passions that we're talking about. And I wish you, the Chamber, the greatest success as well, because as we move forward and as there are more businesses that look to start up, or more businesses perhaps coming from Britain particularly, coming to you can help them. That you can provide a mentorship program that helps them to get through the barriers of how to do business here, and to be able to share your experiences. And you've had them, good and bad, but you can share those with other people and share, these are the tricks of the trade. And what the award can do for you, hopefully, is to help you to find better employees in the future, or indeed how to develop the employees of the future, even your own employees, if they're below the age of 24. Hopefully it might even be able to help your business in terms of networking, in terms of what the Chamber is doing here. But as this program grows and more businesses, especially local businesses, get involved, it'll broaden that network. And hopefully it'll help you if you want to create an impact, a social impact in the country. Then this is something that you can really demonstrate what you're doing. And for us, if there's one thing, is if you can go out and endorse what this program is and share this story with others and say, if you see a young person who's got MEPI or Duke Veterans Award on their CV when they come to apply for a job, these are the questions you ought to ask. This is what you should be looking for. And if you could create opportunities. Currently, I think that MEPI has about 600 young people taking part in the country, and about 32 award units. If you can expand the number of units by talking to other organisations or agencies that are already working with 14 to 24-year-olds, if you can make that link and allow them to be able to run the award, the MEPI through them, then we can expand that network. That would be fantastic if you could help us in kind. And if you haven't got any bright ideas, then perhaps you could give us some money and we'll go out and do it ourselves. But, we are a charity after all, that's how it works. And I'm going to finish. I'm going to steal a line that my wife gave me the other day. Well, I haven't given you any personal examples of young people that have done the award because I'm running out of time. I've been talking for too long. But many people use it. There's a chap who runs the Royal Bank of Canada's investments in America, in New York, and he did his Duke Veterans Award, and he basically claims that the only reason he's got the job he has today is because when he went in there, he talked about his Duke Veterans Award, and he got onto a fast-track management program there. And in terms of comfort zones, and about parents, I get myself into trouble doing this job quite a lot. And I'll give you one example. I'm not too sure I should tell it, actually, it's being recorded, but because it'll come back to it. But there was a young lady I was sitting next to who was doing her Gold Award, and she really wanted to learn pole dancing. And as you could probably imagine, this didn't go down very well with her parents, you see. I'm not too sure what their perception they had of pole dancing, or probably all thinking much the same themselves. But the award is about young people following their own dreams, their own passions. I'm not saying she's going to become a professional pole dancer. And I said, look, if that's what you want to do, go and do it. That's what the award's about. Amazingly, I got a letter about a year later saying she completed her Gold Award and her physical activity was pole dancing, and her final pole dancing routine she did in front of her parents, who thought it was absolutely brilliant. And that is what it's all about. That's what we do. And as my wife said, listen, you're in the business of making fortunes. That's what you do. We, the Duke Veterans Award, NEPI, we're in the business of changing fortunes. I hope you'll help us to do that in the future for many more young people. Thank you very much.